right. Hi, everyone. Wow, there's a lot of people in here. This is the biggest panel I've ever seen in my life. For those who don't know who I am, my name is Hamza. I am 25 years old. I consider myself an urban farmer from the suburbs of Stockholm, Sweden. I'm going to share a little bit about my story, a story that really started when I was a young child. And during my childhood, I was asked the same question over and over again. What do you want to do when you get older? And I'm sure many of you got the same question when you were younger, not that you're old. But my answer was as vague then as it is today. And I want to, I want to create a better world. I want to change the world for the better. I want to help people. But for me, things started to really happen and during my first few years at university. I was 18 years old. I was ready to conquer the world. And during my first few years, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but during my first few years, I was attending startup events. I was applying to grants, competitions, and I want to be there, and I want to do everything. But almost every time I was rejected, I was declined, I was denied, even accepted too late in many cases. But that didn't stop me from continuing doing what I wanted to do and to continuing changing my dream. So one thing led to another, and next thing you know, I was sitting on a plane with my backpack and a one-way ticket to Mexico. I was like, I'm out of here. So I traveled the world for over 1 year. I wanted to widen my horizons. I wanted to learn new things. And it was a risk that I took to leave everything and everyone behind, but that decision that I made was going to change my life forever. I met amazing people, and I saw unforgettable things, amazing things during my travels, and most importantly, I found my passion, the thing that I wanted to dedicate my life to. And so, yeah, I wanted to find a way to help empower people to grow smarter, more locally, and more sustainably. But why is that? Because one of the things is due to this. Are we doomed? The world hunger and food security remain a big issue in today's society. We are literally destroying our planet, and this is what's left of it. We're wasting over 1 billion tons of food every single year, and over 70% of the world's water consumption goes to agriculture. And mind you, agriculture is the biggest contributing factor to climate change. This is crucial, and it's becoming more so with a growing population. We're expected to reach close to 10 billion people by 2050. That requires us to produce more food in the coming decade than we have in the past 8,000 years. Now, the problem isn't the big corporations or the farmers or the grocery stores. The problem is us. We are the problem, and only we can start the change. Many of us are not aware of where the food comes from, when it is produced, or how it is produced, or how our actions might impact the world we live in. We want to grow locally, and many of us like to buy fresh herbs from the supermarket to avoid buying packaged goods that have been flown in from across the globe. But how many times have you bought a basil plant? Can everyone just raise their hand? How many people have bought a basil plant, struggling to keep it alive, only to find it dead after a couple of days? Yeah, a lot of people. And you're not alone. I think most of the people have gone through the same issue and have had the same experience. So. The question is, how can we find new and smarter ways of growing food? How can we create a global mindset, awareness, and a respect for food? What if we grew our own food at home in a different way? So that's what I did. After I traveled the world, I moved to Holland, where I also started my master's program. And that's also when I started growing my own herbs in my room and dorm room. So, but to avoid, and someone's laughing, legal herbs, I promise you. Basil, tomatoes, and Roman, I promise. And so, but avoid killing my plants, I used an ancient growing technique known as aquaponics. Aquaponics is essentially, it's an ancient practice that dates back to the Mayan Indians and the Aztecs. It's a practice where it combines raising of fish in tanks and cultivation of plants in water without any soil. What it is an ecosystem where the fish waste is naturally broken down by microorganisms in the water into nutrients. The nutrients are absorbed by the plants, and the plants also filter the water, which is recirculated back to the fish. So it's in a closed, sustainable ecosystem. It's an effective way of solving both water restriction problems as well as poor soil conditions, and not to mention that it is recognized as one of the most sustainable ways of growing food. So there was growing legal herbs in my dorm room in Holland using aquaponics. And people thought it was crazy. They're like, is that a fish in your room? I was like, yeah, it's a fish. It's called eco. I had names, and I started naming my fish after the people that was living on my floor. But they thought it was crazy, this crazy guy with a fish. But at the same time, they loved it. They saw the potential of it, or they were fascinated. And I saw the potential and the possibilities that this could entail. And that's really what led to a new chapter in my life, the birth of EcoBloom, a project and a dream that I managed to combine with a combination of my graduation project. So I developed EcoBloom, we created EcoBloom as a part of my graduation project and our way of empowering people to grow smarter. And for 8 long months, I studied the question, how can we grow smarter? How can we empower people? And most importantly, how can we educate them about sustainable farming? And this is what I created, the Eco Garden. It's a combination of a smart miniature greenhouse and a self-sustaining aquarium. And essentially what it does, it is an intelligent ecosystem that allows people to grow fresh and organic food all year round. I want to bring nature closer to people and into their homes. And I want to show that growing your own food can be fun and easy. And I've done this by modernizing an ancient growing technique. And by integrating technology, we're able to educate users in an interactive way. They're able to follow the whole growing process from seed to harvest right from their phones. They become immersed in this ancient growing technique. And they monitor and control everything. They feed the fish through the app, they check the temperature, they adjust the light settings. So you become immersed in this technique, and not to mention that you don't never have to think twice about watering your plants or feeding a fish, because it does it for you. It feeds your fish, the system then, or the fish waste feeds the plants, and the plants feed you. And you are part of this whole natural cycle. It's a gamified process that allows users to learn about sustainable farming in a fun and interactive way. And we've built this educational platform and integrated into the ecosystem. And if you're too lazy to even open up the app to feed your fish or check your temperature, you can actually control it and talk with it using voice assistant. Now, things get crazier, trust me. For example, hey Google, talk to Eco Garden.
Hello Hamza, how can I help you?
I would like to feed my fish. It's a bit slow.
Your fish have been fed. What would you like to do next?
Nothing, thank you. This type of engagement will allow people to encourage and view farming in a different way. It creates
see you later.
Thank you. It creates allows for a different type of relationship with nature, but at the same time, it enables us to create a community of like-minded people of all ages with a common goal, a goal that we all strive towards achieving. And 7 months ago, we brought the Eco Garden to life. We launched on Kickstarter, where we sold close to 400 units to people in over 40 countries around the world. We raised over, thank you. Thank you. We raised over 110,000 US dollars in less than 4 weeks, and we are today part of the mass production process. And this is just the start of what we're trying to build, which is a global network of connected urban farmers. We've gained a lot of traction in newspapers and platforms around the world. We partnered up with Red Bull as one of many big partners that we have today. We were recently part of Google's acceleration program. Hopefully EO acceleration program is next. And we have great advisors from Red Bull and other big companies that have helped us better our strategy, improve our product development, and really grow as a company. We are a team of young and hungry and like-minded friends and social entrepreneurs, with a shared vision of wanting to create a better and more sustainable world for future generations. And this handsome young man on the right, not me, the very right, is not our team member. I wish he was. He's the Prince of Sweden. We don't have any Swedes. Usually this is a funny joke in Sweden. Everyone laughs, but this is the Prince of Sweden. I like this picture. And We are experts in design, product development, marketing, machine learning, and IoT infrastructure. And we're always looking for bright and curious people that want to be part of a growing revolution. We have positive future projections, financial projections, and are today part of a seed round looking to raise $400,000 in order to maximize on our recent momentum to scale the team and improve our IoT-powered solutions. And we are on a constant pursuit of educating the world on how to grow smarter. We're making a mark by pushing ourselves to greater heights and always working towards the long term. And this is just the beginning. As Gandhi said, if you want to change the world, start with yourself. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Hamza. You now have 10 minutes of Q&A.
All right, questions? David.
Thank you. I mean, really interesting. I want to buy one of those. It's great. I have a fish tank, and so one of my biggest problems is not the waste, but the algae that grows on the inside of the tank. So how do you clean that when it's an enclosed system?
Sure. I have many options for you. First of all, it's not an aquarium. It's an aquaponics system. So we have different filters. Usually in an aquarium, you have one filter, which is the mechanical filter, the pump. In this case, we have the pump, which is filtering the water. But when you get up, you have 3 different types of filters integrated inside the system, which you can't see. And this is a mechanism that we've designed ourselves. You have 3 different types of filter. You have the gravel filtering the water, the plants filter the water, and then you have another sponge that comes out that filters the water. So it's pretty clean when the water comes out. Another thing is that there are many other solutions, like putting snails. I love snails in my aquarium, and they eat algae. So it's like a natural vacuum cleaner that you can. So you can avoid the algae growth easily. Marina.
Thank you, Hamza.
Thank you.
My daughter has been asking me for a pet or at least a fish for years now, so I might finally stop saying no. So thank you very much. My question is, what is the best book you read in the last 12 months, and why was it your favorite?
I think Talk Like TED. I really enjoyed that book. I got that as a gift. I love presenting, and I've always wanted to improve my way of doing so. So I think Talk Like TED has helped me in many ways and in many situations, like in pitching or the way I talk and how I move my body. So Talk Like TED. I'm currently reading the one I received yesterday, Try, by the way. So that's the next book up. Yeah, thank you. Ram?
Tell us a little bit more about you and your year-long trip around the world, how that impacted you to kind of lead you to this business.
Sure.
I want to understand from your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a very curious person. I love to learn new things, and for me, the thing of impossible is not an option. Like, for me, I learn by doing, and if I don't know it, I will learn it. That's kind of the mindset that I have, and the trip was much like that. I did the things I never thought I would do, and I think meeting people, just like this event here and the week that we've been here, sharing ideas and experiences have really helped me grow as a company. It's so cliche to say that you come back and you're like, oh, I've grown as a company and as a person, but it is true, and I've learned so many things, and I think Aquaponics was something that really was like, this is something I want to do, and I saw it in Guatemala when I was traveling, and other places around the world, and in Mexico, which is originated from. So when I finished my trip and came to Holland, moved directly to Holland, actually from Colombia, that's when I built my own first system. So thank you. Mark?
I had an investment in an aquaponics urban farming play, and it failed. And I've seen others in that time struggle, mainly with production cost, unit economics. What will make you succeed?
Was it a big industrial, I assume? It was a small scale.
Scaling.
So the B2C, the consumer product is a challenge. Hardware is always a challenge. I think the approach is different compared to competitors. Just this educational process or this educational approach and platform that we're trying to create, that has really, schools are calling us, and even the government of Sweden want to collaborate with us. And I think that is probably the difference between the company you invested in and us. That's why you should invest in us instead. to say something, if I can get the backup slides, the IoT, same IoT solution that we have inside the Eco Garden is this. It's a black box. It's an urban farmer. So what we've done is we've taken out the technology. We've made it modular so we can do so. And it's now an AI-powered data cultivation management system. And this will, in the future, become our core business. This is a small urban farmer that you just put in on an indoor farm, and they will digitize the whole farm. And it's based on AI, so we'll make intelligent predictions, lower costs, and really boost your food production by giving you deep insights about your plant growth. This is something we're doing today, officially as a combination of a big pilot test with the city of Stockholm as well, where we're digitizing thousands of square meters of indoor farm. But yeah, I hope that answered your question and a little bit more. Thank you. Any more questions?
Congratulations. How do you find GSEA and why do you apply?
I got an email from our incubator, which we're done with now in Stockholm, KTH Innovation. They sent an email saying that this is an opportunity, and they briefly in the email mentioned it. And I feel like, why not? I might as well. So I applied, and then they called me in as one of the finalists in Sweden, and yeah, that's where everything started. So. Yeah.
What is the skill that you think that you're lacking that you would love to have to grow your business even more?
Me personally or in the team?
You personally.
Ooh. I feel like I'm doing all kinds of stuff, at the moment, many hats as we've talked about. I think financial and the financials is something I would like to have or know more of. So the economic background. I'm a mechanical engineer, so I'm not really, the typical engineer. But I've tried to study it. But that's the skill I would like to learn a bit more. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, David.
Sorry. Red Bull. Does the fish drink it? Do you feed it to the? How does? What's that interaction? What is Red Bull doing for you?
Yeah. We have organic Red Bull as well. So we're like. So Red Bull has a new branch that they started 2-3 years ago. It's called Red Bull Basement, and it is they want to give wings to entrepreneurs, and that's a new branch that they're trying to invest in, just like they have extreme sports or music or dancing. So we won a big competition in Sweden, and we became the company of the year. And they arranged it with another big co-working space, and that's how we won the competition, and the prize was a partnership. So that's how Red Bull came into the picture. Yeah, Marina.
As you juggle being a student and building your awesome business, what is your typical day like?
Work and work and work. It's sad, but it's true. I work a lot. I spend close to 80 hours a week working. I do so because I love it, and I enjoy doing it. And I see the milestones that we keep achieving, and just kind of be here is a receipt in a way. And so I work a lot, and I try to combine it with fun as well. But I see these journeys and trips around the world when we're talking and presenting as a way of taking it easy and relaxing, but I work a lot, yeah. Any more questions? Yes.
Congratulations in raising money. I saw that you raised about $100,000. This competition, the winner will be awarded a little over, I believe, $25,000. What would you do with the money?
We've been working for 2 years now. Bootstrapped. We work full-time, the whole team, unpaid. So the money would go to the team, all of it, because they deserve it. So I would spend it on the team. Yeah. Axel.
Okay, as you know, I really love this topic.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in the IP of the black box. Why is this different from other existing competitors? Because I see some value there, but you have to convince us that this is unique or has some value.
Sure. So the black box, the EcoSense, I don't know if we can see it. Yeah, it doesn't appear here. But the EcoSense is looking at competitors, let's put it that way, looking at competitors and what they have, the typical data cultivation management system, it gives you information about your pH value or your temperature or your humidity, but this will tell you your growth rate or projected harvest time or if there are pests, diseases growing on your leaves. So it gives you a deeper insight. And again, all back to this educational part. It goes beyond just educating users about sustainable farming. We want to empower farmers. Our slogan is grow smarter. We want everyone to grow smarter. We hope that everyone should have their own little farm at home, and the farmers that need to feed this growing population need to be able to grow much more, and in doing so, they need the tools to achieve that.
Is there any IP protection?
With the Eco Garden, yes. And we are in the process of filing patents as we speak, utility patents mainly. So we are constantly with experts sitting down and looking and studying what we can patent and when we should patent it. So yes. Any more? Thank you.